All right, welcome to the second episode of the Bettor In Laws podcast. I am Tuck Silva alongside Matt Prisco. Matt, how are we doing today?
We're doing all right, my friend. How are you?
A little wet. Little fucking wet.
Little wet, yeah.
Walked in the rain about a mile because I saw street parking in Boston, and I salivated, and I parked. Where at the time it was not raining, and then the second I closed the door, proceeded to rain and pour all over me. So whatever, fuck it. I look like a stunad, but what are you going to do?
You look great with the long hair. It's really flowing.
It's a fucking mess right now, honestly.
It's all right.
I'm still working through the kinks on this wet hair, if you will. But whatever. Yeah. You know, we're here to talk football.
That's right.
Before I do that, I do want to make mention, we are family.
Yep.
You are my brother-in-law.
Yep.
And this past week, we had a terrible loss in our family. Mm-hmm. My Uncle John passed away at the age of 59. And I mentioned this on the podcast because he was an avid sports fiend, Boston sports fiend, originally from Somerville. And he was a major influence on me and my family, my sister, everybody. It's just an absolute pillar in our family. And we lost him this past Friday. And this being a gambling podcast, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, because he was probably the first person to introduce me to gambling, and becoming an absolute degenerate from time to time like he was. But I know that you and I would text with him about what he's liking, and he would always give us these teasers. So I just wanted to, mention that before we move on. Since he was a major gambler like you and I, and we're going to miss him dearly. So 100%. This podcast episode will be dedicated to our Uncle John. So now we'll move forward with that. Do want to mention? We got to recap week one.
Yeah, week one. Recap.
How do we do, Matt?
You should want to recap, my friend.
Yes.
You carried the show last week with a nice 3-1-1 record. Quick push. You know what's funny? In 2 years,
3-1-1.
3-1-1 for you. And what's funny is in 2 years of doing the podcast, I never had a push, and you come in day one and just throw a push out there. But hey, push is better than a loss.
I was sweating it a little bit. It was the 45 points for the Patriots and Eagles, and the last 3 minutes or so was 25-20, and the Patriots couldn't score.
So as a Pats fan, did you want them to come back and win?
There was a part of me that did not want them to score a single point, just because it was the first podcast that was on here. With Big Night, and I wanted to have a winning above 500 record, if you will. I lost my best bet, I will say that. However, why don't you just run through the week one real quick?
Yeah, real quick. We'll just run through. You went 3-1-1. You just said it. You lost Pittsburgh money line. I was also on Pittsburgh plus 2.5. How'd that go?
That was so bad.
I fade my Niners, and they do that to me. I'll tell you what. I've never rooted for a bet to lose more in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, was that a brilliant game from San Francisco?
Oh, it was, yeah.
I mean, they looked awesome. So that's that. We'll leave that in the past. We'll get to them when we get there. Baltimore minus 10. That was a sweat fest, too. They looked like sluggish out of the gate, but they got the job done. Jags minus 5 hung on there at the end.
Yep.
Like that. Cover for you. Cincy, Cleveland, never in doubt. That under was beautiful play.
Thank you.
And then you pushed the under of the Philly-New England game. For me, I had my best bet on the Dolphins plus 3. They won outright. So I'll go 1-0 there, but I did have a 2-3 day overall. Like I said, lost Pittsburgh plus 2.5. I have a Mike Vrabel rant to go on. I'll save it for when we get to Tennessee, but the pussification of the Tennessee Titans was the number one thing that pissed me off on Sunday. Mike Vrabel kicking a field goal. Maybe I'm not going to save it. Mike Vrabel kicking a field goal with 2:30 left, down 6 points, were they? 6 points? No, they were down 4 points. I'm
honestly,
sorry. They lost by one. They lost by one. And 4 points. He kicks a field goal. I lost my mind. So New Orleans doesn't cover. They do win the game. So lost that one. Chicago, Green Bay, easy over there for me to cash. Denver is another frustrating loss for me. They just lose outright to Vegas. Ugly game there. We're ready to bounce back week 2. I love this card. It's going to be a little bit of an ugly card for me, but I love it. That's where I usually win. So let's fire into it.
Yeah, let's get after it. Let's lead things off with Thursday Night Football. And I mentioned last week how I wouldn't spend so much time on Thursday Night Football. Proceeded to spend the most possible time out of any game last week on Thursday Night Football. So I'm going to try and not do that. But we have the Vikings and the Eagles. We're looking at 6.5 point favorites for the Eagles. 49 point total. I'm not sure if I honestly with anything on week 2. It's just been a crazy week. Anything on week 2, I don't know what opened at what. So what happened with this here?
Yeah. So
has anything moved?
It did a little bit. Philly opened up -7. Seen it go down to 6.5. I've seen it go up to 7.5. So it's kind of playing right within that number.
Okay.
I think every time it goes 7.5, it's getting bet down. 6.5 is usually pushing back to 7. So if you see a 6.5 and you like Philly, hit it. If you like the Vikings, wait for the 7.5. It's probably coming. I think it's going to close 7, just the way it's going.
Yeah, it seems that I think the Vikings had a couple of injuries in game 1, and their loss, mind you, home against the Buccaneers, which was there was a lot of sharp money pouring in on the Bucs on Sunday.
We both leaned the Bucs.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that on Sunday, but that point total or the Bucks points to cover kept coming down and down and down. I'm like, oh, sharp money's coming in.
4.5 closed.
Yeah, and it opened at what 6.5, something like that. Yeah. So a lot of sharp money came in, and rightfully so. Bucks actually looked pretty good, but. It's not like the Vikings looked awful. Like Kirk Cousins had a respectable game.
I think it's just typical Vikings.
Yeah.
When they win all those close games last year, you expect them to take a step back a little bit. That's the luck factor that we expect. They just lost. I mean, that's just a close game that they would have won last year, Tucker. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
But this team in Vegas is looked at as like an 8 or 9 win team, and that's the luck factor. They got 13 wins. They're certainly not that. They lost that game Sunday. They would have won it last year.
I mean, nothing really sticks out to me for this matchup. 6.5 does seem a little baity for me. Eagles offense did not look terribly good against New England, but that was mostly in part because Belichick had months to prepare for that game.
Months, and Jalen Hurts played just awful.
Yeah, he did not look good whatsoever, but I'm going to chalk it up to just facing a really tough defense and a defensive-minded genius.
He missed a lot of reads in that game. I'll say this is not an official play for me on the card because that's not what we do for Thursday Night Football. It's a bonus if one of us plays it. I'm on Philly. They destroyed Minnesota on Thursday Night Football last year.
Did they?
I expect them to do it again. This is just a talent gap. They, like you said, they faced Bill Belichick last week with a great New England defense. Good plan. Minnesota's not coming at them with this plan. I expect Philly to rout big, 2 touchdowns, easy cover. That's my opinion. I played it. Take with that what you will.
That's not a like?
No, I can't do it on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that's a rule.
It's just a podcast rule because by the time it gets out
that's
there,
true. That's true. Yeah. I would lean the Eagles as well, but I don't feel terribly great about that because I picked the Vikings as their division winner, and it's I wouldn't want to see them going 0-2, but it's a very strong possibility now. Yeah. Hopefully get a little more T.J. Hawkinson and Jordan Addison involved.
Yeah, need to.
With that offense. But
need to.
It's going to be a tough task with that Eagles defensive line if the Vikings O-line is banged up. So I would lean Eagles there as well. Sunday, we got a big one, and this is actually catching me off guard. For some reason, I thought this was a 4:25 game, but it's the Chiefs and Jaguars, a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, probably the game of the day.
Yeah, which is strange, if you ask me, in terms of NFL scheduling means. But nonetheless, we have the Chiefs favored on the road in Jacksonville, 3-point favorites. Over-under is at 51. This was a very close pick for me in terms of picking the Chiefs as a 3-point favorite. I did not go that direction, but I would say it's a strong lean for me. I have a couple of thoughts, but what are yours?
Strong lean Chiefs here. Not betting this game. I just want to watch it, to be honest. This is one of those games where, man, the Chiefs 0-1, lose outright to the Lions. Didn't see that happening, but without Kelsey, it was eye-opening last week looking at Mahomes' weapons. And when Kadarius Toney played the way he did, I can't imagine he'd ever play that bad again in his life. But that said, where was he going with the ball? Well, now they get, most likely, we're recording on Wednesday at, 1:30 or so here, Eastern time. Everything looks like Kelsey's going to suit up and play in this game. That's not official. We'll wait and see.
I'm not totally convinced of that, by the way.
But even if he does, I still don't think he's going to be 100%. So this is part of my back off.
Yeah.
I can't imagine I need to see him before I'm jumping in and throwing, money on KC. Chris Jones is back. That is happening. That was a huge sign for them. They need him back on that defensive line. But I'll tell you what, Jacksonville in September, humid weather. That team gave Kansas City a great game in the playoffs in Arrowhead last year. I expect this to be tight. I would, in 95% of situations, KC coming off a loss as a field goal favorite. I don't really even care who you are. You got Pat Mahomes and you deal with it. I don't know. I don't feel confident enough to put the Chiefs on. So it's a lean for me. I think the Chiefs probably get it done, but I'm not putting my money on it.
And just as a point of reference, in the divisional round, the Chiefs won 27-20, and then earlier that year was a score of 27-17. So both came in under 51 there. So I would probably lean under as well for that trend to continue. I still think that the Chiefs receiving situation is kind of a mess right now. You mentioned Kadarius Toney. They're not going to put him on the shelf all of a sudden. They're obsessed with Kadarius Toney. He's a great, seemingly a high ceiling, great gadget guy. Out of you use him in the backfield, they use him creatively in the red zone, and I don't think they're going to go away with that.
Who can you even put in for him?
Well, that's the other thing too. It's just like in a game where they had no Travis Kelce, Sky Moore had 3 targets.
3.
Who they drafted in the second round last year? Is that what it was? Not a good sign at all. It's, when you're seeing the Justin Watsons of the world getting more targets over Sky Moore, it's not good news. But who knows? But in terms of Toney, they're going to keep getting him involved, even with or without Travis Kelce. But I'm still very curious if Travis Kelce's plays.
Yeah, I think he's going to give it a go.
I know he's had 10 days of rest, but still.
I know. I couldn't even believe he was a game time decision last week.
I think that was a little bit of gamesmanship.
I think so too. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine him coming out and being the regular Travis Kelce that we're used to seeing. So I'm away from it. I need to see him in action before I'm throwing 3 on the road.
But I would lean the Chiefs, and I would lean the under on that one. Cool. Raiders and Bills, really low point total if you ask me. 46.5 points. Bills coming off a really tough Monday Night Football loss, and one that we're going to remember for ages to come, obviously because of the Achilles tear to Aaron Rodgers, and then the overtime win with the Jets. Just a magnificent game.
Awesome.
8.5 point favorite in their home opener against the Raiders, who had a nice win on the road at Mile High Stadium against the Broncos. This was almost a like for me as well, to absolutely smash the Bills, but it's not a full like for me. It's just a lot of points for me, and I still don't know the status of Jacoby Myers for the Raiders either. So it's a lean. It's not a like for me.
Yeah, it's a lean to the Bills side as well for me. If you're going to do anything in this game, I'd recommend teasing it. 6-point teaser, get that under a field goal. You get the Bills 2.5. That's the play for me here. The Bills are not losing to the Raiders at home. Absolutely not. I know they looked terrible last week, but I thought that was more about the Jets' defense. They were incredible. I mean, Josh Allen didn't play his greatest game. Let's be clear about that. But I suspect he's going to bounce back in a huge way in this game.
Shouldn't this be a 10-point spread?
I know, but yes and no.
This should easily be a double-digit game for the Bills.
The Bills, I made the game 9. The Bills' defense has lost some guys. They're not as talented on that side of the ball as they were in the past, but they're still good. Right. They're a step behind what they were from like 2 years ago when they were toe-to-toe with KC. I think they've taken a little bit of a step back there. But they still have the bodies. The thing here is, like, say what you want about him, but Jimmy G usually keeps games close.
Right.
At the very least. He's a winner in the league. He gets the job done. May not be the prettiest, and you may not love the way he gets it done, but when he's on the field, he wins games. I think he keeps this close. I'm away from it. I think the number's right on, and I have no real feeling on it.
My only real hesitation with this is after seeing what the Bills allowed with Breece Hall on Monday night. I mean, he scampered for 83 yards in one run, but the whole night, Breece Hall, who was limited, by the way, looked. I mean, that's probably more so because Breece Hall, I think, is a freak and he's an immensely talented back. But Josh Jacobs is, was one of the top backs last year, and he's a workhorse. Yeah. So I could totally see the Raiders kind of bleeding up the clock in that capacity.
Yeah, I think they should.
And kind of trying to at least keep it close. But, and then my other hesitation with the Bills is just Josh Allen. Like, this guy's due for a major injury. We hear it every year.
The way he plays is insane.
He's just ruthless with in not protecting his body and trying to pick up the extra yards, which I respect. But man, you're going to kill your season.
Yep.
So, I mean, and not to mention, he looks completely, ever since last year, he looks not like himself. He's kind of throwing a ton of picks.
Yeah, he's going backwards.
Right.
So, I think
Seems like he's regressing a little bit here.
In my opinion, I think Josh Allen really misses Brian Daboll. Daboll would mix up the plays.
Good point.
What Buffalo continues to do, it killed them last year in the playoffs against Cincinnati. It kills them in every big game.
Yeah.
They stop running the football. They don't mix it well enough. James Cook was running the ball great when they gave him the ball. They went completely away from it and just put the ball in his hands. When you're simply one-dimensional and you're just throwing the ball every down, it's tougher to do in the NFL. You can't get away with that as much. I mean, Josh Allen is a star in this league, but let's hold him accountable here. He's not played like one in the last year. I mean, he's really struggling with the interceptions. He's going backwards a little bit. For me, Buffalo is a team that I really don't want any part of when it's getting close to this number. Like I said, I made the game 9. I also wonder if I rank the Bills a little too high right now.
Seahawks on the road, coming off a very, very tough home loss against a Rams team that was just really shocking in week 1. I thought that was one of the biggest stories of week 1 was how amazing Stafford looked with what he had with him. Now, Nakua could turn out to be a stud. I know it's only 1 week. He looked solid, but we'll talk about the Rams in a bit. But Seahawks coming off a tough loss. They just signed Jason Peters, 41-year-old Jason Peters, because they had suffered a couple injuries on their O-line. 5.5-point favorite for the Detroit Lions in their home opener, and 47.5 points here. What are you thinking on this one? Because I want to get all over the Lions on this one.
Do you?
I do.
I have a like. It's on the Seahawks. This is a complete overreaction spot to me here. This game, Tucker, just so you're aware, open 2.5 Lions.
Oh, it did. Okay.
We're up to 6 on this at MGM, so you get that 6 there. At DraftKings, it is 5.5. Just looking at the live odds,
yeah.
I did play 6. So that's just quoting where I got it at 6
this
right now.
This opened 2.5.
2.5.
No shit.
And the overreaction to the Lions beating the Chiefs versus the Seahawks losing to the Rams has driven this line to 6. I'm just going to call this out right now. These types of games are the biggest plays for me in week 2. You cannot overreact after 1 week in the NFL. Yes, to your point, everyone in the world thought that game was going to be opposite Seahawks and Rams. They thought the Seahawks were going to do that to the Rams. They didn't see the Rams doing that to the Seahawks, right? So now the market's like, oh, Seattle, not as good as we thought. Now, I wasn't high on Seattle to begin with in this year. You know that. We've talked about that.
I was leaning on their over for 8.5 win total.
And that's fair, but 8.5 is like, they're a playoff team last year. So for me, I think that's them coming down a little bit, and I do expect them to regress a little bit in the market. That said, we're at an almost 4-point move, 3.5-point move, through a key number of 3, up to 6. And let's face it, I think the Seahawks are just better than what they were last week. I think the Rams caught them off guard. My biggest regret in week 1, I know we talked about this. We were on vacation a couple weeks ago. And I told you I loved the Rams. I was afraid of them tanking for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, you didn't touch them.
So I stayed away from it. I wanted to see what they looked like, especially with Cooper Kupp out, and they go and blow out the Seahawks. So, again, don't overreact to week 1. For me, I like the Seahawks here. I think they score enough. I don't think they win the game necessarily. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this. I'd also lean to the over here. These two teams played a couple of years ago in an absolute shootout. Both teams, I think, are a little bit better offensively this year than they were then. And, Detroit at home it's just been an over team in general.
My only concern with the Seahawks is that what is the status of Tyler Lockett? Because he left the game.
Did see that.
That's a major loss for that Seahawks offense. And you have JSN, who's coming off a wrist surgery, and he played in week 1, but still he's a rookie. Maybe they're managing him a little bit there.
We'll get in the game, because that's exactly where I'm going with this. In years past, the Tyler Lockett injury is a huge, huge piece.
Yeah.
JSN he's going to be the real deal in Seattle, and I hate to say that as a 49ers fan. Get him out there. I think they rested him. They gave him limited time last week in that game. They need him now, especially if Lockett doesn't play or isn't 100% healthy. I think putting him aside from Metcalf, they'll cover the 6. I feel strong about this. This is very close to my best bet.
Wow. Okay. Well, why isn't it?
I got a better game.
Do you?
On the board.
All right, we'll get to that. But just last final thought on that one is that Seahawks got to establish the run here.
They have to go back to it. They get two-headed monster.
They could not run at all.
Yeah, they got to get Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet involved early.
But they might not be able to with these two injuries on the offensive line. And
that's the one concern.
Now you're relying on a 41-year-old tackle.
That's the one concern.
Off the street.
That could be the issue.
Right.
That's where that's the little hesitation in me, but I did like the Jason Peters sign. Even though he's 41 years old, he's pretty durable. Well, he's not durable. That's been his problem. But when he plays,
he's a beast.
He's a beast. Yeah. So, we'll see.
Chargers on the road against the Tennessee Titans. The Chargers are favored by 3. And we have a 45.5 point total here. And I think you know what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
Chargers -3.
You like them?
Yep.
Okay. Let's hear it. Why?
I felt that the Chargers kind of ran a little bit too much between Eckler and Josh Kelly there. And, they still put up 34 points. Mm-hmm. Mike Williams left the game with an injury.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking, I know. But on top of that, the Titans are vulnerable in the secondary. You can definitely throw on them. They have one of the weakest secondaries in the league, it seems. And I think this is going to be the breakout game for Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator and really scripting up a solid game sheet for Justin Herbert. And I think Herbert could throw anywhere between 2 to 3 touchdowns in this one.
Yeah.
So 3 points. They're on the road, West Coast to East Coast team, I know, but still 3 points seems like it's a little too low for me. So that's a like for me, Chargers -3.
All right, just to lean my way, it would have been Tennessee lean if I got the hook. If it went to 3.5, I'll take the home dog there, but I'm not going there at 3. I think the number's spot on.
Do you really think that the Titans can start the season 2-0?
No, they lost the Saints by 1.
Wait, what?
Mike Vrabel.
Wait, oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because you'd think they won because Mike Vrabel's kicking field goals with 2:30 left, down 4.
Yeah.
Moron. I'm glad he never touched the ball again. Still not over.
Sorry, I'm drinking.
Sorry.
A seltzer.
Yeah.
So that's a like for me. I just think that they're going to get more involved with the passing game rather than the run game. That's
could be a good game. The only thing I'd say to watch out for is to keep an eye on Austin Eckler. He's not practicing earlier in the week with an ankle injury, but I think he's going to play.
Okay, so if for some reason Eckler does not play, which I think he does, then this is no longer a like for me.
Yeah.
I will clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Ravens on the road against a Bengals team where Joe Burrow threw for, 83 yards?
He looked great.
Is that what it was?
He looked real sharp.
What the fuck happened there?
A lot of rain and a lot of no practice.
I mean, it just clearly it's a sign that they just Joe Burrow didn't practice at all, which he didn't in the preseason or play at all in the preseason, rightfully so, because you want to make sure he's recovering from that calf situation they suffered in training camp, and you want to protect your franchise. I get that, but man,
he
just
didn't look
out of nobody looked good.
No,
I mean T. Higgins, wasn't his fault, but 8 targets, 0 catches.
That's crazy.
Jamar Chase had 3 catches or something like that. Yeah,
it was 3.
Joe Mixon wasn't involved as much in the passing game as I had hoped. So 3.5 point favorite for the Bengals, 46.5 point total, and this is going to be another like for me. We have the Ravens plus 3.5. That is a like for me.
Okay.
This is a tweet coming from Joe Connor from Covers. Mm-hmm. I just want to make sure I got that right. I think that was his name. I'm sorry. Anyways, it's from Covers, and he had this fantastic tweet. The Ravens are 18-3-1 against the spread in their last 22 games as an underdog. And again, they're currently 3.5 point favorite or 3.5 point dogs to the Bengals here. So I know that they're coming off a major injury with J.K. Dobbins, but honestly, this is nothing that hasn't happened to them in the past. Unfortunately, for an immense talent like J.K. Dobbins, unfortunately, it looks like his career very well could be over.
For sure.
25 months, he's had both a Achilles tear and an ACL.
Not good.
In 25 months. I mean, I feel so bad for the guy.
He's played 9 games.
Yeah. Feel really bad for the guy. But nonetheless, I think the Ravens will be completely fine. Most likely, they're going to be getting back Mark Andrews, who's obviously a major cog in that offense. Mm-hmm. And by the way, one of the other major storylines from week 1 was the use and effectiveness of rookie wideout Zay Flowers.
Yes.
I mean, they were using him a ton, both out of the backfield and on, bubble screens and everything. They love
he looks
Zay Flowers. Yeah. They're going to create a lot of creative plays for Flowers going forward. So I think they can keep it close. If they can keep it within a field goal, I don't know if they win the game, but 3.5 points, hell yeah. I picked the Ravens to win that division. Maybe there's a possibility the Bengals take a step back this year. Everybody kind of had them, as one of the top 2 teams, and rightfully so, in the AFC. But, they have a lot of lingering contract issues there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe that's going to affect the players.
Yeah. I'll be quick on my side of this. It's a lean for me. Well, not even a lean. It's a no play at all. I saw the Bengals at 2.5 earlier in the week, and I thought about it. I didn't fire. Now it's at 3.5. I saw that exact same stat that you called out, 18-3-1. So not looking to not back Baltimore there. My head says Cincy around a field goal, so the line is what it is. I make the game 3 on the nose, so I'm staying away. Not enough value here for me either side.
I'm sorry, that was Joe Osborne with covers. Just wanted to give
Joe Osborne,
credit there.
Yep, sure.
So that is my second like, back-to-back likes if you're keeping track at home.
Yep.
Packers, nice victory on the road at Soldiers Field against a horrible Bears offense, it seems, but we'll get to the Bears coming up here. But the Packers, 2-point favorites on the road in Atlanta, 40.5 points is the total here. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Lean Atlanta at getting the 2 at home. Here's another one that, great game last week from the Packers. I thought they had a great game plan, great defense.
Without Christian Watson.
Play without Christian Watson. Jordan Love looked good. So we'll see how he continues to progress, but I like the way he played. I was watching that game. I rewatched that game yesterday. He played really strong in that game, so liked what I saw from him. Atlanta's a tricky place to go. I like what they're doing on offense. I like the Algier move. I didn't see that coming. I know we knew Bijan was going to be utilized more in the passing game, but first of all, he looks awesome. I mean, Bijan looks awesome. With the ball
that move
in his hands.
He made with his first touchdown in the NFL is incredible.
Incredible. He makes you miss. That's his thing. And he made 2 men, absolutely broke 2 tackles right into the end zone. Just an awesome play. Algier looked good, though, running the ball, too. Liked what they were doing, kind of blending them in together. I'm not the biggest Ritter fan that you'll find, so that's my hesitation here. But I want to see the Packers one more time. Back-to-back road games to start. Atlanta's at home, back-to-back weeks. So let's see it. For me, I want to see where this game goes. It's a lean to Atlanta. I think they're the slightly better team at home. They can get that job done, but I'm not ready to fully commit to that, so it's not a play for me.
I would probably lean the Packers in this one. I know that you mentioned the nice 2-headed monster there in the backfield for the Falcons, but the Packers are going to expect that now.
Yeah.
Because they know that they have a solid secondary with Jerry Alexander, who shut down DJ Moore last week, and I guess that's maybe could have been speaking more to the ineffectiveness of Justin Fields, who looked like garbage for the Bears. But the Packers are going to be expecting the run here. And when you have a quarterback like Desmond Ridder who can't get Drake London anything last week, and you had Kyle Pitts who had, 44 yards, 2 receptions.
All in the second half.
I mean, Drake London can't have a single catch. You can't get that guy the ball, really.
It's incredible.
That's a shame that he's a waste there. So I think the Packers are going to be preparing for the run, and they're probably going to have the Atlanta offense reeling, I would say.
I want to see Aaron Jones in that game before.
Well, that's the other thing, too.
Started limping. I know he said he's fine. He walked off after. He's not practicing early in the week.
Yeah.
It, again, is Wednesday, so a little early. I expect Aaron Jones to play, but until I see anything, I can't go lay 2 with the Packers here.
Yeah, so in case you missed it, Aaron Jones on his touchdown run did come up kind of holding his left hamstring, it was, and all indications were that if it was a closer game, he would have been back in, but I don't know if they're just saying that or
Never
not.
know with a hamstring.
You never
how
know.
you wake up the next day. I don't know.
I mean, what's he, 29 years old?
Yeah.
That's the other aspect of this too.
Yep.
So keep an eye on that, but I would lean Packers as a 2-point favorite on the road. Bears going on the road against the 1-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Baker Mayfield.
You look good.
Look pretty good.
Yeah.
Mike Evans reeling in a touchdown. It looked like he knew how to throw the Baker Mayfield knew how to play quarterback in the NFL, which is something we did not see much of last year, aside from his weird Thursday night with the Rams.
Yep.
Last year. Buccaneers 3-point favorites, 41-point total here. If I had a lean, it would probably be the under on this one.
Okay. Talk about it.
I would say that the Buccaneers defense is just going to embarrass Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. They're going to be effective. And I don't know if Baker is going to be a little nervous in his home opener as the Buccaneers quarterback. So I could see this kind of being a lot of 3-and-outs in this game would be my guess. That's just my hunch.
Yep. I'm on the other side, actually, and it's a like for me. I already bet this game. I bet the Bears once it hit 3. This is, again, too much of a line move and an overreaction spot to both teams. 1.5 Bears favorite. So what we're seeing here in the market is this line jumped, flipped through 0, goes up to 3. Look, I know Chicago looked terrible last year.
That's a lot of movement.
And I've not been high on the Bears in their offseason. I've seen people try to say Justin Fields getting his MVP talk. I'm pumping the brakes there. If anybody knows me, I've said I still haven't seen him throw the ball like an NFL quarterback. And, to be seen, let's give him DJ Moore. Chase Claypool put in 0 effort last week, so I don't know what he was doing even on the field. Kind of just walking around out there. It was actually weird to watch. He's going to get cut. He should get cut. Like I told you, I watched the
He was
Packers.
a knucklehead with the Steelers, too, man.
He's absolutely out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like I was watching that. I just said I was watching the Packers-Bears game yesterday. Claypool was visibly doing nothing on the field. If I was a Bears fan, I would have lost my mind. Yeah. I have no idea how they just put him back out there. That said, I think this line's moved a little too much for my liking. I think the Bears come back. Justin Fields get back into running the ball a little bit more design runs for him. I think they'll play off that more. They'll get Herbert. You saw Roschon Johnson get his first touchdown.
Garbage time.
Six passes, though, he caught.
Yeah.
Like that mix in with them to kind of give him the two-headed monster there out of the backfield. They're not great two-headed monster.
Hopefully they use him more.
But exactly, like Khalil Herbert, he can catch passes out of the backfield. So if Fields can dump off, dink and dunk, open up the game for DJ Moore, I think that's going to help stretch out that Tampa D by using Fields in the run game. We have seen one thing work against Tampa's D in the past. Running quarterbacks have had success against them. For this reason, give me the Bears plus the 3. It's a like for me.
All right, so how many likes are you in so far?
I have 2 likes noted here.
So I have 2 likes and you have 2 likes.
Yep.
All right, moving ahead to the Colts and Texans. Colts actually looked decent in their first game. I know it was a loss at home against the Jaguars, a tough Jaguars team, but Anthony Richardson didn't look terrible.
He didn't look terrible.
He almost leveled his entire season.
Of course.
With not protecting himself in that one play.
He's a runner.
On the goal line.
He's a runner. He's got a little Josh Allen to him in that sense of like, I'm going to run and I'm not going to protect myself. I'm going to run you over because I'm a monster. I said last week I'm not an Anthony Richardson fan. He played a lot better than I thought he would. I'll be totally honest and the first to admit it. I'm not ready to say I'm there yet. I'll pass to you back here because this was close to being my 5th like.
Yeah, I mean, 1 point. So the Colts are 1-point favorites, 39.5-point total. The under kind of pops out to me, doesn't it? With you, 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, Stroud didn't look that great last week.
Didn't look great.
At all.
Didn't look great, but I'll tell you
like
this.
Like, the Ravens' defense is not like a shutdown defense by any means. They're a respectable defense, middle of the pack.
Yep.
But, I thought it was a poor first week for the rookie.
I was impressed with Houston overall, though. That game, I thought
got away from them.
All games, it was close. Yeah. And then the Ravens kind of tacked on at the end.
Right.
But that was within the number the entire game. And it's a lot of what kind of expected, at least from the low-scoring Houston side.
Yeah.
But, I think this is a week they can get Damian Pierce involved. let's see it. Like, I think CJ Stroud's going to look a lot better this week than he does.
I thought his usage kind of sucked, Dameon Pierce.
Well, they get down, and then it was just kind of chase. Right. But they were still in that game. They should have kept giving him the ball.
Right.
They think I was not impressed with Houston's offense whatsoever last week. That said, a Colts team coming to Houston, I think Houston's the right side here. I think they're going to win this game outright.
I could see that.
Again, not high on either one of these teams, so it's a hold your nose kind of pick. I think I'm probably going to bet this game, to be honest.
I think we've been pretty clear in terms of week one overreactions. I think this speaks volumes. I mean, Colts are 1-point favorites all of a sudden.
Yeah, Houston was the favorite.
Before last week, we had the Cardinals as the worst team in the league, and number 2 was a strong candidate was the Colts as the number 2 worst team.
They are absolutely on my power rankings.
Now they're 1-point favorites.
And that's exactly it, Tuck. I still have the Colts as the second worst team in the league. Yeah. And not that I have Houston much higher, but that said, I think this game should be a field goal favorite or a 2.5 point favorite.
It's a home opener for the Texans. And Becca Ryan's at home finally. Exactly. A lot of young guys.
Exactly. I think there's a lot to be excited about in this game for Houston.
Yeah.
They're not going to be a great team, but this is a winnable football game for them, and I think they're going to get the job done.
You know what? That wouldn't shock me if this line moved to the Texans being 1-point favorites or something like that.
It's how it opened.
Is that how it opened?
I think so. Let me see. Let me
this would not surprise me if this
one.
moved back and forth until Sunday.
-1 Houston, and I was surprised at early money coming in on the Colts. But again, I think it's overreaction. For me, I was more impressed with the way Houston kind of competed in Baltimore. That's a tough. I know the Ravens aren't that shutdown defense that we were at before, but that's still an intimidating place for a rookie to go make his first NFL start, looking across the field, seeing Lamar Jackson, Odell Beckham, and then you get on the field and that Ravens D, that crowd, that's not a fun place to play.
All right, your 49ers absolutely rolled the Steelers last week. They are on the road in L.A. to take on a divisional rival, L.A. Rams. They're 49ers favored by 7.5. Point total is 44.5. You're the Niners fan. Take it away.
Yeah, Niners fan here, but it's not at a number that I'm going to back them on. And here's the thing. They've owned the Rams for years. Kyle Shanahan's owned McVay.
This was 8.5, by the way, right?
It went up to 8.5, opened 4.5. So, we've seen some serious money come in on the Niners early in the week. All of that said, we have a line now right where I have it. I make the game 8, and I think that I don't think there's any overreaction here. Two teams that were really impressive in the opener, but I think we all know what the Rams are, and I think we all know what the 49ers are. If they're healthy, they are a well-oiled machine. I was stunned at how good Brock Purdy looked last week. Trusting Brandon Ayuk. I know I've told you that this is going to be Ayuk's year.
I drafted him.
Been waiting for it. I think, but you're going to see one thing I will come out and say. If Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, he's going to win the MVP. I'm going to say that right now.
It's a big fucking if.
It's a big if. It's a big if.
I love CMC, but Jesus.
He is, in that offense, he is just unstoppable. And,
that scamper was incredible.
He's just insane in that offense.
Was that the third quarter?
And the team loves to block. You see Ayuk down the field blocking, Ray McLeod blocking, Debo Strong blocks, Kittle loves to block. I mean, it's a fun team to watch in the run game. And he is just the best player.
And then Eli Mitchell wasn't even involved.
No, they didn't even really use him that much. He was in there.
They should have.
I was kind of hoping they'd put him in. Him and Jordan Mason carry the second half.
Yeah, it's just let's rest CMC. Yeah. But no, they weren't having it.
They didn't need it. I will say one thing. This is for, and we'll get into this. I don't think we talked about this. We're going to split off the fantasy stuff to another show.
Right.
But this is a Deebo Samuel week. He owns the Rams.
Really?
He gets up for the Rams. The Rams have talked nothing but trash. Aaron Donald specifically acting like he didn't know who Deebo was. And Deebo doesn't forget that. This is a Deebo Samuel week. He will be in the end zone.
All right.
Anytime touchdown, Deebo Samuel. I don't even know what the number is. I'll look it up here in a second, but it's a play for me. I don't know what it is yet.
And then I'm very curious to see week 2 of Puka Nakata.
Yeah.
What's his last?
Hakuna Matata?
No. Puka. What's his last?
Nakua. Yeah, he
Nakuda?
was Nakua.
Excuse me.
He was a star at BYU. Really a good player.
And why was he only a 5th round pick? He's 6'2".
I know. Yeah, he's
a speedster.
Flies.
I guess they just didn't think he was physical enough. But,
I don't know.
I mean, the other part of this is that everybody's just saying he's just filling in for Cooper Kupp. He played 75% of
he's playing
his snaps on the outside.
He'll play.
When Kupp returns, he's still going to be a major factor. He's what Van Jefferson should have been, and Van Jefferson sucks.
And this is where, I talked to you earlier in the year that I like the Rams a lot more than the market did. I liked their over.
Yeah.
My fear was they would tank, but I'll tell you what.
They look legit.
They can figure out the defense, because that's where they're weak. if they can figure out the defense, they're going to be a surprise team in the league this year.
Yeah, they could very well figure it out with McVay there. Obviously, one of the best coaches going. So,
yep.
By the way, I do want to mention that around this time last week, and this is the start of the 4 o'clock slate, was when Xfinity Stream finally resumed.
Oh,
we did not mention that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So, from my point of view, we have a new TV, and I was using, ready to go 1 o'clock game. Boot up Xfinity Stream, nothing. Log on to Twitter, and it's just absolute fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Everybody's bitching in Xfinity. So they didn't get Xfinity going until like 3:30ish, something like that, 4 o'clock. So what was your experience like?
My experience was great, Tuck. Let's just say that I tried to order Red Zone at 9:30 Sunday morning, and I go on the computer. I pick the package. They upsell me on a modem, even though I wasn't changing my internet. They say the internet speed can't be held with this modem anymore.
So you bought the high-speed internet,
now I got to get a modem. They mail it to me, whatever. Fine. All right, no problem. Go to put Red Zone on, test it. Not working yet. All right, no problem. Maybe it takes like 10 minutes. I've done it in the past.
So they didn't activate it?
Didn't activate it. Well, it did. No, I got the confirmation. I bought the pack. I bought Red Zone. I bought the little extra add-on package. Got the confirmation email. Now, that said, I then go out and I say, okay, let me go grab a coffee. I had a couple buddies that were going to come over and watch the games on Sunday.
Week one, it's a holiday.
You know how my basement's set up. You know, it's
a man cave.
And I got the 3 TVs. I need Red Zone. It's just part of the whatever you want to call it. Experience. Thank you. So, not there in an hour. I get on the phone with Comcast at 10 o'clock. And I'm like, what is going on? I talked to 5 different people. My friends are there now. It's now 5 minutes from kickoff, and I explode. They're trying to tell me, we can't figure it out. It's not a Comcast issue. I'm like, it's absolutely a Comcast issue. Let's be clear.
Whose other fucking issue would it be?
They were trying to blame my Wi-Fi. I'm like, the TV works. I got the...
Who provides the Wi-Fi?
The other thing
you
is,
assholes.
Oh, terrible. I lost my lid. I told them I was a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I told them I was going to sue them, charge them $500 an hour. I charge my clients.
Why would you say you're a lawyer?
Because I said I charge clients $500 an hour to talk to me, and now I've been talking to you for 2 hours.
What do they say to that? Like, cool, man.
Well, I want 5 months free cable.
Oh, you did?
That's what I was asking for.
And what, did you get it?
No. But I did after bitching enough. I got a month free. And I suggest everyone complains.
What time did it finally come on for you?
It came on a Tuesday at about 9 p.m. 9
Oh, so
9
you had to bail on watching the game?
No.
Okay.
So Red Zone actually worked on the Xfinity app through Roku for me. So on my side TVs that I have there, we had Red Zone on, but I couldn't use it on my big setup with the Sonos. I was fired up. It is what it is. So I got to watch the Niners on my big TV.
They not only had an issue with their modems and everything and regular cable, but the Xfinity Stream was not working on week 1 of NFL Sunday. Get your shit together, Xfinity.
I let them know that YouTube TV was working and Verizon had it working. Don't you worry about it.
I don't think we're going to be sponsored by Xfinity anytime soon.
No, probably not.
Fuck them.
Yeah, I'm not happy with you.
Anyways, Giants are on the road in Arizona to take on the measly Cardinals. Actually pulled off a win. Yeah. Almost. Giants
pulled off a cover.
5.5 point favorites after their embarrassing 40-0 loss to the Cowboys at home. Man, MetLife Stadium had a real shit show in week 1.
Brutal.
Between Aaron Rodgers,
brutal.
Achilles exploding, and then the Giants getting absolutely killed 40-0.
Yeah.
Not a good week for MetLife Stadium.
No.
But nonetheless, Giants 5.5 point favorites is my best bet.
Okay, let's go.
The week. And this is again from Joe Osborne of the Covers. Giants were a perfect 6-0 against the spread following a loss last season. They look to be in a nice bounce back spot at Arizona as a 5-point favorite, but there's also the possibility they truly suck.
Yep.
Which I fully acknowledge with, again, Joe Osborne of the Covers tweeting that out. Listen, Brian Daboll's a really good coach. Really good coach. And I think he's going to get these guys fired up and be like, listen, we are better than what we just put out there. I know it's a divisional game. Tough Cowboys team, but 40-0.
Terrible.
Are you shitting me with that?
Terrible.
So this is a classic Go on the road, get your shit together spot for the Giants. They're much better than what we saw on Sunday night. That was a fucking joke. I think they're going to be just fine covering 5.5 points against probably the worst team in the league with the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's not a probably. It is. They are the worst team. And I'll tell you what, they played better than I thought they were on Sunday.
They did.
That said, you're going to find out what the Giants are. This is a lean for me. It's the Giants. I think that's the right side here. I make the game 6.5, so there is a point there. This has gone up to 6, back to 5.5. It opened
40
at
point
4.
total, by the way.
Yeah, 40 point total. I don't see Arizona doing too much in this game. I don't know. All I know is a lean to the Giants. I don't want to spend much time on it, but the Giants have a Thursday night football game at San Francisco, so I'm excited for that one.
In week 3?
3.
Okay.
So yeah,
this is even more motivation to get your shit together.
I will say this.
Because you got the Niners on deck.
You have, because you're not going to start. You can't start 0-3.
You can't start 0-2 in that division.
That's your season.
You can't.
You can't.
No way.
And not 0-3. So here's the thing. I'll leave it at this. You hear this term a lot in college football, college basketball, college sports in general. There's get right spots where you just lost a game. What do you want to see? A cupcake in front of you to go play. You don't get that in the NFL. There's no cupcake. Even the worst teams can give you a game. But if any team you want to see after losing 40-0 on the schedule, I don't care where you're playing, on the road, in Germany, wherever, doesn't matter. You want it to be the Arizona Cardinals. I lean the Giants here.
Zach Wilson-led Jets will head on the road to Dallas to take on the, looks like a powerhouse with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys 9-point favorites, 39-point total here, and excuse me, another like for. I can't fucking talk.
Another like.
Take it away. I can't fucking talk.
Okay, Tucker can't talk. I have no idea who his like is, but I'll jump in on my side.
It's a like.
For who? Who do you like?
It's already trending in my direction. It was at 40 points.
Yep.
It's now at 39.
Yep.
I still like the under.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's not a full like for me, but
this is going to move to like 37.5, something like that.
Here's the deal. The Cowboys won 40-0. Okay, but they were clearly the better team Sunday night. They look awesome on defense. Their offense didn't have to do much, so I get it.
Right.
But they didn't really do much anyways. And I know that was part of like jumping out to the early lead, getting the game, run the ball, etc. This Jets defense, they might have lost Aaron Rodgers, but I think
they're going to rally around this.
They're going to rally around this. Everyone's just chalking up. I mean, we're in Boston. That's where we're located. So we hear Boston sports radio, and everyone's like, Pats are getting 2 more wins. I'm like, hold up.
No.
Because that defense is still legit. And Zach Wilson, for what he was, beat the Buffalo Bills last week with that defense. So he played the whole game. And I know he didn't play well, but they got to rally around him, and they're going to.
It was a tough spot for Zach Wilson. I know Zach Wilson blows, but it was still a tough spot.
He led them down the field, and Breece Hall was running out of his mind.
Jesus Christ.
So Tuck's losing it. He's got no voice here. I'll keep it moving. I like the under in this too. The Cowboys defense is awesome. The Jets defense is awesome. I'll tell you where the 9 gets dicey to me is Dak Prescott against that defense. You just saw that defense pick off Josh Allen 3 times.
I don't feel good about 9 here.
He had the butt fumble 2.0 on Allen. This feels high. The look ahead was 3.5 with Rodgers. And that would have been a play for me on the Jets. And I know over a field goal. I thought that game was going to be close to begin with. Now Rodgers out, went to 9.5 as far as I saw. It may have went higher, but as far as I've seen, it went to 9.5. Back down to 9. I think that's settling in right at that number. I still think it's too many points, but I do like the under. It's not a play for me, but I like the side
It's a play for me.
Attaboy.
It was 40. Now it's 39. Going my way. All right. We got a couple games left here. Commanders on the road in Denver, Mile High Stadium. And this is going to be my final like. Give me the Broncos, 3.5 points.
Okay.
Tough loss home against the Raiders last week. I just don't see the Broncos going 0-2. And I know it's 3.5 points, so they could still technically win here and not cover the points. Obviously, I know that. But I just think that they're going to take care of business. They're going to get Javonte Williams a little bit more involved. Yep. I liked what I saw with their involvement with Samaje Perine, who I think is a great asset out of the backfield. They did lose Greg Dulcich as a pass catcher. He's going to miss multiple weeks there. But the other thing I do want to see is more involvement with Marvin Mims there. But more so in terms of why I like this is that it's Sam Howell, inexperienced guy. It's a tough spot to go at Mile High Stadium, not to mention with the crowd, but also with the altitude. We all know that.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a challenge.
Payton.
It's going to be a challenge. And going against Sean Payton, too. It's going to be a challenge for Howell and that Commanders offense. So that's my I don't know what you think.
I lean Denver. I'm not putting my money on Denver again because that's disgusting. They looked as awful last year.
I don't feel great about
it. They did it last year. They looked awful on offense. They looked slightly improved on offense this year. But you're right. Sam Howell, I think of all things I saw last week, I was higher on Sam Howell than most people. That team looked terrible last week at home against the Cardinals. I don't know what to expect, so lean Denver, but nothing strong for me.
All right, Sunday Night Football. We have the Dolphins on the road to take on Mac Jones and the Patriots. 2.5-point favorite for the Dolphins after their nice win on the road against the LA Chargers. 47 points here. I have no play, but I would say this is that I think that Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien are going to take a page out of the Chargers playbook last week and pound the run. Yeah, just give them 36 points. But no, I mean, the Chargers defense is absolute dog shit.
Yep.
That has been for years, it seems. They can't get a fucking defense going there. But nonetheless, I
with
think
a defensive head coach.
I do think that Bill O'Brien will take a page out of the Chargers playbook and pounding the run.
He better.
What they did with Eckler and Kelly last year, I think you're going to see that with Stevenson and Zeke. I was impressed with Zeke's usage for the Patriots backfield, and I don't know if that was more towards whatever illness that Ramondre Stevenson was going through, or that he possibly had. He popped up on the injury report on Friday and didn't play, but I assume that he's going to be completely fine, and it's going to be a big Ramondre Stevenson game. But again, can the Patriots defend this freak of an athlete with Tyreek Hill and, oh, by the way, Jalen Wall on the other side?
And that's the
They're
guy.
going to take away one of those
that's
guys.
That's the guy. They're going to try to take away Hill because unlike the Chargers, what Bill's going to do is actually double team Tyreek, and he's going to give him help over the top. Except for the Chargers,
Jonathan Jones has a nice history against Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Well, they're going to need two guys. Reek's an animal. Get 3 games left. I get 3 likes, including a best bet. This isn't it, but it's a like. It is the Miami Dolphins -2. Hey, and this is for me, Tucker.
-2 or 2.5?
2 on FanDuel right now.
Okay. Would you take them at 2.5?
Yes. Anything under a field goal. Here's why. I actually teased. I'll give you a little bonus play here. This is not a like, but I teased Buffalo down to 2.5 with the Pats up to 8.5. Feel confident with this. But close game. Give me the Dolphins. Here's why. I don't know what's going on in this town where moral victories have become the way. I get it. Tom Brady's not here, and there's been a lot of change, and
I don't think it was a moral victory.
But this is the lap we're hearing from people. Like, they're excited they lost by 5 points to Philly. A, you didn't cover. B, here's the biggest thing for me, Tuck.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this over and over again. It's Mac Jones. You had 2 chances to go win that football game. You should have won that football game.
And he said so.
I know he took accountability, which is great, but guess what? Go win the game. You're at home. You need these wins. Like, that was a winnable football game. Bill drew up an unbelievable defensive effort to stop or slow Philly in the rain, and you had the chance to go in. You didn't do it. And until you go and win a close game, if there's a line under a field goal with a team that I think's better than you, I'm taking it every time until I see Mac pull it out. Because what I'm realizing here is I don't trust Mac Jones to go down the field and go get those points in a close game. So give me Miami -2 here. I think their offense is too much for the Pats. I think the defense of the Pats is good. They'll slow them down for sure. I think it's a big Jalen Waddle game, though. It's tough to stop Reek and Waddle.
Yeah.
It's tough. And Waddle's too talented to just not to. If you take away Reek, he's too talented to just sit there and not put up a big game.
So the last time that the Patriots faced the Dolphins, it was Tyreek Hill at 55 yards, 4 catches.
Was that with Skylar Thompson, though?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, it was a split between Teddy Bridgewater. I think Teddy got hurt.
Teddy got hurt in the game, and then
Skylar came in.
And almost beat him outright. See, this is the thing. First of all,
and Jalen Wall, 3
luck.
catches, 52 yards.
Yep. And the other thing here, it is Sunday Night Football. The one part that worried me about this, and it is my 5th out of 5, so I'll just give you that right now. This was like a teetering between the Texans and the Dolphins. But I got the number I wanted at FanDuel with 2. So, all of that said, the Pats kind of need this game.
Oh, you can't go 0-2.
You don't want to go 0-2, especially with just happened to Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
You cannot go 0-2 home.
That's the biggest thing, because it's at home.
In your red alternate jerseys, too.
And again, you should have won that game on Sunday. But again, until you do it, I can't believe it. Dolphins -2. I think they're the better team. I picked them to win the AFC East in the offseason.
Yeah.
I think they win this game. It is a tough travel spot, though.
And then last year in week 1, when Tua was the quarterback, with Patriots should have won that game. It was a Damian Harris fumble.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill had 8 catches, 94 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown.
Yep.
So both games, they kept him under 100 yards.
Yep.
I will say that. So there's going to be a scheme that's drawn up by Belichick on the defensive side. It's just a matter of can Bill O'Brien get this offense clicking for that, which it seemed like it was a nice step in the right direction.
Yeah, no, for sure. They looked much better offensively, despite everything. They still only scored 20 points.
All right, last game here.
2 games. 2 Monday nights.
Oh, they're doing this again.
And I got likes on both of them.
Christ.
I got likes on both of them.
All right, so we got the Saints on the road in Carolina. Saints 3-point favorites. That's got to be a like for you.
It is not. I'm on Carolina.
Oh, would you? You were on Carolina last week. They sucked dick.
I had Carolina in this game last year, and they blew doors on the Saints. But I'll tell you this. I did not like the Panthers last week.
Yeah, you did.
I leaned them.
Oh, you leaned the Panthers.
I did not bet that game.
Okay.
That said, give me the Panthers here. I got 3 and a hook.
way.
It's on MGM. You can go get it right now. 3.5, and that's the key. Right now, it's. I did see it come down on DraftKings, by the way. So most books at 3, but you can get Caesars MGM 3.5 right now. All of this said, 3.5 Monday night, home dog, little excitement. The Saints have struggled in Carolina for years. The Saints are the better team, no question about this.
Yeah.
But there's some excitement there. Your first round pick, that place is going to be rocking Monday Night Football. It's a sneaky tough place to play in Carolina, and I think they keep it close enough. I would not be shocked if Carolina outright wins this game, but they're definitely covering the 3.5. Like it.
3 or 3.5, because DraftKings is 3.
MGM's 3.5 right now.
Do you like 3?
I lean it.
Yeah.
But I like 3.5 a whole lot more.
All right.
Still lean 3, Carolina. I think they win the game. I really do.
I was a 40-point total there, by the way. Yeah, I think you're fucking crazy for that.
Possibly.
Panthers did not look good whatsoever.
Nope.
1 week, I know, but still, Bryce Young did not look great.
That's okay.
Final game here on the slate, the second Monday Night Football game, Browns and Steelers. Browns are 2-point favorites, 39.5 points here. Browns coming off a very, very nice win on the road. Or no, that was home. Excuse me. It was with Cincinnati. I would probably lean the Browns, and this one might seem like an easy one, but I don't know the status of Deontay Johnson.
Out.
He is out. Okay, so, I mean, 2 doesn't seem like it's enough. Does it to you?
Best bet, Pittsburgh Steelers plus 2.5. FanDuel right now.
Why?
MGM, Caesars, all 3, 2.5. DraftKings, the only book at 2.
All right, talk to me on this one.
Pittsburgh opened 1. Again, I'm not a big overreactor. I backed the Steelers in the beginning. I don't think they suck as much as they looked like they sucked in week 1. I think a lot of that had to do with San Francisco.
I mean, they were my best bet last
down.
week, so
Right.
I clearly do like the Steelers somewhat.
I'm going back to the well here. They're at home on Monday Night Football. They are not starting 0-2. They can't start 0-2, first of all. They opened -1. All the money poured in on Cleveland early.
Oh, they did open -1.
The brakes.
Okay. All right.
Pump the brakes. I have to say this. Pump the brakes. Deontay Johnson.
The brakes.
I will say this about Deontay Johnson. I'm a big fan of him. They don't use him as much as George Pickens since George Pickens started to become involved. So that's his guy. That's Pickett's guy. Freiermuth, big game coming. The biggest thing here is the Browns. This is an overreaction for week 1. The Browns own the Bengals. The past 5 years have shown you the Browns successful against the Bengals. We knew this was coming. I think Pittsburgh just ran into a team from the 49ers who are like, we keep hearing we start slow, we start slow, we start slow.
They started
slow. And they realize that 1 seed means everything in the NFC. They don't want to go back to Philly in January or Dallas. They want that 1 seed, and they came out ready to play. Now, the Steelers couldn't have looked worse, right? So that's where you're seeing all this money move towards Cleveland, who looked great. I like the Steelers. Tuck's getting phone calls.
What the fuck?
I like the Steelers. Plus 2.
I think this is Jordan's furniture.
Jordan's furniture. Is it your couch?
Yeah.
His couch is finally getting delivered for. That's going to happen.
I think this is a recording.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to pick it up.
Yeah.
I think it's a robot.
Well, okay. Robot.
Just leave it outside. It's fine. It's just raining.
It's pouring. You can pick it up when you get there.
Yeah.
The Steelers are winning this game. It's my best bet. I've bet it +2.5. I bet the money line. I'm taking +2.5 as my best bet. They're not losing.
You believe these
really
fuckers?
love you. They really love you.
I kind of want to answer this, but I know that's illegal to answer the phone without them knowing. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you can't do that with recording.
Yeah. Well, they did split last year, by the way, the Steelers and the Browns.
Steelers aren't losing this game.
All right, you talked me into it. Especially with the Steelers open -1. You talked me into it.
Give me the money line, +2.5. Best bet, Pittsburgh Steelers. That's how we wrap the show, Tuck. I'm going to give the recap because we're right about at an hour now. I want to keep it within that. So here we go. Recap here. Your likes, Chargers -3, Ravens +3.5, Giants -5.5, New York Jets, Dallas under 39, and the Denver Broncos -3.5. And remind me, your best bet, the Giants -5.5.
Best bet was Giants 5.5.
All right, my recap here is the Seattle Seahawks +6, Chicago Bears +3, Miami Dolphins -2, Carolina +3.5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers +2.5. And sprinkle that money line just for fun. Good show.
Hey, week 2 already in the books. That flew by. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tuck.
And for more information, or if you want to give us a like or follow, how can the people find us, Matt?
Yeah, you can go, first of all, go to our Instagram, Bettor In Laws, no dash there or anything, just BETTOR.
Why do you have to look at the screen?
Because it's just pointing to the screen for the folks that are on the YouTube.
They have fucking eyes. They can see it.
All right, fine. BETTOR.
This is a podcast.
LAWS, but it's also on YouTube. And so for that, you can find us on Twitter there. You can find us on Instagram there. We'll post props, pics, all that fun stuff. You can also follow me on Twitter at mprisco3. Tuck.
At Tuck Silva.
At Tuck Silva. We'll throw that onto a slide on Instagram post this week so you guys can have access to that. And all our links are in the bios on both Twitter and Instagram. That's where it can be found.
All right. Well, good luck, everybody. Thank you for listening. Week 2 is in the books. Play responsibly, I guess.
Bet responsibly.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. If you don't have the means, don't bet. It's fun. Stay in your means. Have a bankroll. Play in your bankroll.
And hopefully all your couches are delivered successfully. Mine hopefully will be on Friday.
And may Red Zone show up on your TVs regardless of who you have.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
See ya.